I used to witness my father having to answer 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old white boys that I played with. He had to say yes, sir, and no, sir to them. And I couldn't understand it. I just couldn't. And those were back during some real difficult times in America. Race relations were not where they are today. Thank God they're so much better, but those were tough times. And if nothing else, it just, it inspired me to want to get away from the sugarcane fields of South Florida and the cotton fields of South Georgia, and because I grew up in that. I mean, I grew up working in the fields, even as a young lad. There was no daycare; there was field care. And you went to the fields right away, and so that inspired me to want to go to school, because it wasn't a sure shot that you were gonna finish high school.
Willie E. Gary's life story is a testament to resilience, determination, and the pursuit of justice.
You were uprooted from season to season, crop to crop, city to city, town to town, never knowing how long you were going to be there, and never knowing when you were going to have to pick up and move to the next town to find work.
Born July 12, 1947, in Eastman, Georgia, to Turner and Mary Gary, Willie grew up in a family of migrant workers.
It was a big goal for me to get out of high school. That was major, and I was dreaming about it. Not going to college, but just to get out of high school.
The Gary family lived in poverty, often struggling to make ends meet. Despite these challenges, Willie was instilled with a strong work ethic and a belief in the power of education.
I'm the first in my family, out of 11 of us, I'm the first in my family to go, to get out of high school. And of course, there were 5 before me that didn't make it, and there were 5 after me that all graduated from high school and went to college. So I kind of like to think I started something good in the Gary family. I have 2 sisters and 3 sisters, and 2 brothers after me that finished high school and went on to Shaw University and graduated. So I'm real proud of that. That's how Willie Gary got started. That's how this dream, this desire, this motivation to be somebody. Then when I got into high school, that was enough. Then I started thinking about something that you never thought of as a migrant kid. That's going to college. That was unheard of. What are you talking about? Going to college? That was a big deal. That was huge. And then it more and more, it became a reality that maybe I could go to college. And, and I wanted to do that. So, so that's how it all started. And this Willie Gary, the lawyer, and all of that stemmed from, back during those dark days when, we were working in the fields.
After high school, Gary attended Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina, on a football scholarship. He became the first in his family to graduate college, earning a degree in business administration in 1971.
Obviously, you gotta want to be somebody. I mean, really, you have to want it. Nobody can drag you into this. I mean, the best motivators can't get you to do something that's not in you. A lot of times it doesn't surface, and a good motivator can bring it out of you. But you gotta have the fire in your belly. You gotta want to do it. And and even when I was we were dirt poor, man, but I wanted better. I wanted better for my family and for my people, African Americans that were subject to racism in the worst way. And I just, I said, look, I'm gonna make a difference, man. You know what I mean? So And because my brothers and sisters before me, they had to go to the fields to work. They wanted to go to school and couldn't. So it wasn't like they were dropouts or they didn't want to go. You know, the more hands in the fields, the more likelihood that you put food on the table every day. So it was my time. My daddy said he lost his 200-acre farm. 200-acre farm he lost because I had a difficult childbirth. I almost didn't make it. And the hospital bills were like crazy. And he lost the farm because he mortgaged it from just to take care of the bills for my birth. But he said he never even thought about it because he told me this later. You know, he said, "I knew you'd pay me back." He said, "I knew you were something special. Of all the kids, he said, whatever it is that you have, you had it, and I just felt it, that you were going to make a difference. You were going to be somebody."
Known as the Giant Killer.
It just didn't happen. It's no accident. I had a calling, rooted within from the day that I think I was born. I mean, I was destined to do something that would turn some young boy or girl's life around, inspire some young boy or girl to dream big, or to not give up, to not quit because they were born in the slum. It doesn't mean that the slum is born in you. And Willie Gary's story is a good example of that.
Gary is celebrated by his groundbreaking legal victories against powerful corporations and his commitment to uplifting underprivileged communities.
You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's not going to happen overnight. Let me tell you something. If you alone can account for saving one boy or girl a year from going down the path of destruction, or keeping their life on track, or maybe inspire some young boy or girl that would have never gone to college or gotten out of high school, you've made a difference. And that's what we could do. Now, and you don't need an organization for this. You don't need a title for this. You don't need to be the president of this. You just need to do it. You just need to do it.
Inspired to fight for justice, he later attended North Carolina Central University School of Law, graduating in 1974.
15% of the total population in America, African Americans. Now that's a lot of people. You save one child a year. I saved one a year. If we all did this, it's real. It doesn't cost a lot. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Just go to the parks, go to the playgrounds. You know, don't wait for the kids to come to you. Go where they are. Use your life. Look what you've done with your life. Use it as an example. You owe it to young men and women to inspire them with your life, your story. We all have a story. And I think we could just use our stories. I mean, I know the word role model is overused, and that's okay, but at the end of the day, that's really what it is. But more than just being a role model, I mean, you've been a difference maker.
Gary's success has allowed him to give back generously.
You know, you're going to the parks and the playgrounds, and you're sitting some young boy or girl down, and you're telling them about what it takes to make it. You're saying, as much as you can, stay away from drugs, stay away from this, stay away from crime. Look, somebody. Now, are you going to get 10 out of 10? No. But if you save one, you know, no matter how many weeks, how many months, how many years work, if you save one, is it worth it? You bet it is. And I think that's what we have to do. Just being here, you know, and meeting some young men and women today, and I'm moving here in New York about, and young lawyers, and inspiring them.
Founding his firm after law school, Gary returned to Florida, where he established a small practice in Martin County. The firm, Gary, Williams, Parenti, Watson, and Gary, began modestly but grew into one of the nation's most powerful law firms, specializing in civil rights, wrongful death, and personal injury cases.
I believe that because we had a conversation, they're fired up, and I feel in my heart that they're gonna make a difference. They're gonna exceed their expectations because they said, "Man, gee, you did it. I can too."
He frequently speaks at schools and community events, inspiring others with his story.
We've stopped inspiring. We don't go to the parks. We don't go to the playgrounds. Some of us do, but we don't leave our ivory tower offices once a week, once a month, and go where the kids are. And I'm talking about the ones that really, really, really need us. You know what I mean? We don't do it. We washed our hands with our young people. We have those that are in a position to make a difference. That's where, it's not about just the kids. Oh yeah, they need the inspiration. They need to be motivated. But, we make it to our ivory tower offices and we hang out our do not disturb signs. And I'm too busy at the stock market. I'm too busy over here running this bank. I'm too busy running this law practice. I'm too busy running this public relation firm. No. That's just cop out. It's a cop out. So, and yes, the kids have a responsibility, but the responsibility for us is even greater. When I was growing up, everybody used to help raise everybody's child. If you got caught wrong down the streets, Sister Jones or Sister Jackson will put you in your place. And no sense in you going home trying to get any help, because you get it again after you got home. You get chewed out after you got home. But and somebody was saying in the midst of all of that, don't do this, don't do that. You'll get in trouble. It's not good for you.
He has donated millions to historically black colleges and universities, including Shaw University, his alma mater. He established scholarships and endowments to help underprivileged students across higher education. Through the Gary Foundation, he has supported initiatives aimed at youth development.
They are all our children, so our young people are. So that's what I think, those of us who are in a position, and it ain't about how much money you have. It ain't about what your title is. One of my biggest role models in my life is one of my grade school teachers. Well, I love Johnny Cochran, Jesse Jackson, and on. President Obama, Bill Clinton. A lot of people I've come in contact with inspired me. But look, my second grade teacher, to this day, my biggest role model. She probably never made over $25,000 a year in her life, and maybe even not that much. But my biggest role model, and I've handled billion-dollar cases. But this grade school teacher, my biggest role model.
Gary earned his nickname by representing individuals and small businesses against large corporations.
The definition of being a man is number one. Obviously, you have an obligation to accept responsibility in life. That's number one. And whether it's and because it's nice to take credit for having done something great too, but I think in general to be a man. I think you have to display the kind of attitude and the kind of character about yourself that will lead other young men and women too, for that matter, to look up to you, to want to pattern their lives after you, because they saw in you something that was about more than just yourself, but it was about helping people, reaching out to people, taking some time, being a part of the community, being a part of the movement, things of that nature, and not being selfish, not being just about yourself. To me, whether it's a woman or a man, that's being mature. That's being, accepting your calling, really. And of course, then I think the work ethic is so important for our young men, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to give you anything. And being a man is willing to work, get a job. I don't care what it is, but nobody's going to give you anything, and nobody owes you anything. Well, we were promised 40 acres and a mule, and we never got it. And guess what? You're not going to get it unless you make it happen.
In 1995, Gary won a $500 million verdict against the Canadian Funeral Company for predatory business practices. Numerous other high-profile cases against corporations such as Anheuser-Busch, Disney, and Motorola. Gary has won over $30 billion in verdicts and settlements during his career.
Being a man, and when I say being a man, I'm talking about really just being a matured adult, because I think the same responsibility would fall on women as well. So, but that's, I inspire young men to accept responsibility. If you go out and you get in trouble, accept it. Pay your dues. Regroup and reorganize and come back stronger. You know what I mean? Because I've had the opportunity to speak at a lot of detention centers, even state and federal prisons, to young men that were there, no hope, no dreams, facing a dead-end street. But there again, I took that time to go sit down and talk to them about, when you get out, what are you going to do? Are you going to turn your life around? You're in trouble. You can't change that. You've done this. My obligation as a man is to make sure that they don't do it again.
His courtroom charisma, storytelling skills, and deep connection with juries have been instrumental in his success.
I think the accomplishments of President Barack Obama huge. He clearly, as becoming president of the United States of America, he has succeeded in insurmountable odds. The deck was stacked against him, but he rose above it anyway. He refused to be denied. And I think that message to our young people is huge. I mean, we can't take that lightly. That's huge. And I think, over the years, you're gonna see young men and women, and African American men and women, for sure, aspiring to positions and to having goals that are just unbelievable, because they feel that, if you can become president of the United States of America as an African American, and President Obama has proven that, obviously twice, and the sky's the limit. So you can't even measure the worth, the impact that President Obama becoming a president of the United States of America. Not just a black president, but a president. How much impact he is having on the lives of young boys and girls. On generations unborn.
Gary's hard work has afforded him a lifestyle many can only dream of. He owns multiple luxury properties, private jets, Wings of Justice 1 and Wings of Justice 2, and an impressive collection of high-end vehicles. Despite his success, Gary remains grounded, often sharing how his humble beginnings shaped his approach to life and justice.
He has succeeded against insurmountable odds. Won. And that's a huge message.
Gary has been profiled on 60 Minutes, The Oprah Winfrey Show, and numerous legal publications. His story has been featured in Ebony, Jet, and other prominent outlets. Recognized as one of the most influential trial attorneys in the U.S., honored by the American Bar Association and other legal organizations for his contributions to the legal profession.
came from within. You had to have the fire in your belly, and that's why. It's already there. Sometimes you just need people to inspire. Some people don't need. It's there, but a lot of So I've inspired a lot of young men and women. I know that. I believe that. I feel that. But I've run into young men and women too that just had the fire in their belly, man. They were, I said, look, you're gonna hear from that young boy or girl. You're gonna just mark my word. So it's kind of there. I mean, I thank God every day that from it's my old silver-headed grandfather used to say, from just knee high. When I was only tall enough to touch his knee, and he said, I felt like you were going to be special.
Willie Gary's story exemplifies the power of perseverance and commitment to justice. From the son of sharecroppers to a globally recognized attorney, Gary's journey inspires generations to dream big, work hard, and stand up for what's right.
I thank God for whatever I've done, what I'm doing, whatever I hope to do, because at the end of the day, no matter who you are, you didn't get there on your own. And I'm just a firm believer. I think it's my faith. There's a power that's greater than Willie Gary, that's leading Willie Gary, inspiring Willie Gary.
His motto, if you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it, continues to resonate with those who hear his story.
When I was in the second grade, I had to be the leader. And I never forget it. I mean, I wanted to be the man. I wanted to lead the Sunday school. I wanted to know more Bible verses than anybody else. I just wanted it. And this sitting under an oak tree, a shade tree. Didn't even have a church. We had Sunday school on boxes. But I wanted to lead the Sunday school. It was in my blood. I mean, it was running through my veins. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to be a leader. And I'm talking about before we even started school. My aunt used to buy books, order books through the mail. That's where we had Sunday school. Didn't even have a church. And I insisted on leading the Sunday school.
I'm Charles Williams. Thank you for joining us on this edition of The Magic of the Porch. We'll see you next time.